Hello, this is a demo about SQL Server to DB2 ZOS conversion process for database using the ODBC connection and for scripts conversion from SQL Server to DB2 mainframe on ZOS. First of all, I would like to mention that for DB2 ZOS as a target, in order to use our tool, you have to install the DB2 Connect that must contain a DB2 CMD tool, which is used by Sequoias in loading the definitions and data into the remote mainframe server. So let's start from one of the tools that our company Aspire Systems provides for database conversion using ODBC connection. It's called Sequoias Wizard. You can see it on your screen. When you start it, you tap into Welcome to the Sequoias Wizard page. And here I would like to mention select a project or create a new project option that specifies the project directory where the information about the options you specify during the conversion process, data type mappings, identifier mappings, and etc. All the information is stored here and can be subsequently reused by Sequoias tool for the same project. On the Choose a Source Database page for SQL Server as a source database, our tool uses ODBC connection. You can see it here. You can use user or system DSN name or file DSN. Also, you need to specify the username and password that must have appropriate privileges to do the export from the source database of the objects that you are going to convert. And also, this user must have appropriate rights to make selects from system tables from SQL Server database, because additionally our tool extracts information about columns, data types, other objects like descriptions and etc. from source database and converts them into DB2 ZOS. On the Choose a Target database page, you need to specify the target as a IBM DB2 for ZOS and OS 390. Also, you need to specify you may or may not specify the target version. As a default, it is the highest version of DB2 database. You need to specify the database alias for a remote mainframe database, username and a password given you by a database administrator for loading the objects into target database. Also, on the advanced page, you need to specify the bin directory from this is a location where actually the DB2 CMD tool resides, and it will be used from this location. As I'm using the project directory, I've got a set of objects selected for me for this particular conversion process. To specify the objects from source database, you can just drag and drop from left to right pane any element from the left pane. Even the whole database can be specified for the conversion. Also there is a filtering option that you can use to specify the exact schema for conversion or exact objects with some with the names that start from some letter, for example. Okay, let's click next. On the specified DDL and data options page, there are lots of options that can be used for database conversion tuning, like emit schema names in SQL scripts, like result words replacement, pattern, like when you click tables, for example, you can see global data type mapping that can be changed for the target database. On the data options, there is an export data option that controls whether the data export is necessary in this run or no. On the DDL options page, if you choose select scripts, there is an option regarding the DDL conversion from source to target database. So you can uncheck it, and in this case, no definitions of source objects will be converted from source to target. So lots of options, so you can change object names, for example. And all this information is stored in the project directory. On the specify export file options page, you need to provide the export directory. This is the intermediate repository for all the files that our tool generates. It extracts information from the source database, from SQL Server database, represents it in the DB2 format, like the data is stored in IXF format files. SQL language is stored in the SQL files. Also, batch files are provided with the appropriate comments for doing the import into DB2 mainframe database. Also, here you can see a run and trace mode option that generates a trace file, and additionally it influences the way the SQL files are created, the information they contain, like for example, it shows you the commented source of each object extracted from the source database. On the specify import options page, there is a main option for DB2 ZOS operational system as import to local or remote target database will be executed from the local system. So we assume that you have a client, the DB2 Connect installed on your current computer with the appropriate license to make a connection to DB2 mainframe database. So we're using the first option for doing the import into the remote database system. This is a review the selections page that shows you some objects that were selected for the conversion and other information. Okay, so on the migration status page, you can see that our tool connects to SQL Server database and extracts all the objects one by one from SQL Server database. Let's go to a view export page to see the results. So for the export process, we have a Sequoias log file that shows you what is the command for doing the export, the conversion process with the ODBC connection, information about the source, the objects that were extracted from the source database, the status for them on the export and conversion, the total number of objects for each object type and for the whole database. There's also generated Sequoias report file that contains some information about the exported tables from source database. So also, as you can see, for DB2 ZOS as a target database, lobs are generated in a separate folder. Also, as for DB2 ZOS, for functions, we have a solution as they are only external functions in DB2 ZOS that support Java language. We create additional Java files for functions conversion. So the idea is, let me show you. For example, we have a source function with some business logic inside in SQL Server database. So when doing the conversion, we create an external function in DB2 that references a jar file on this database mainframe. So, and this jar file is compiled from a Java file provided, and the function, the method here in this Java block calls stored procedure and returns the result from it like a function in DB2. So you can see that next is a stored procedure that is a SQL language, and you can see the converted SQL language from business logic from source to target database. So you just can compare the way the business logic is converted in SQL language. There is no complete conversion of SQL to Java in our tool. This is our solution. Also, for additional functions that has no equivalence in DB2 from SQL Server, we create our own class as DB2Ext, and so we have a function reverse in SQL Server that has no equivalent in DB2 So we made a solution the same as in as for user-defined functions from SQL Server database. So we created a function that references a Java method that calls the stored procedure with a SQL language inside. Also, let me show you some examples of DDL conversion. You can see that IXF format for data is used for loading the data into the DB2 database. The batch command that is used, DB2 connect is used, the DB2 tool is used for connecting to the database, running the DDL, importing the data. And for views, so you can see views are converted from SQL Server to DB2 as is. Stored procedures are converted from SQL stored procedures to SQL stored procedures. So, and actually this is all information about the conversion and export. Now let's run the import. Okay, so you can see our tool has managed to connect to mainframe database on ZOS and making loads into the database. And if there are any errors or warnings, so all the information from server is returned into Sequoias imp.log file, as well in this migration status page on Sequoias Wizard. So you can see it's quite fast. Each object is loaded one by one, and we can see the Sequoias imp.log file now. So the information is provided here regarding the loading of the objects. As I don't have Java files compiled on my DB2 mainframe database, so the functions are not included there, so I can't reference to them. But still, as for SQL language, all the objects were created. You can see like this stored procedure and other objects. Tables, when they are imported, you can see the all statistics in the same log file. like the number of rows that were read from the source, inserted and committed for each table. Okay, so the stored procedure has been loaded, and this stored procedure for function has been loaded as well. Okay, so this is how actually the process of database conversion from SQL Server to DB2ZOS is done in our tool. So you can see everything is made automatically. You can see our solution for functions conversion to DB2ZOS. Now let me show you a few more tools that we have. These are Sequoias Studio that you can see on your screen, and Sequoias Commander. So both these tools work with scripts and make a conversion of them from SQL syntax, Microsoft SQL syntax, into DB2 SQL syntax. So I must note here that there are some peculiarities in using our tools for this conversion for DB2ZOS as a target, because we don't have a target DB2ZOS in the list of the supported databases. You can see, so there is no such target database. We have a common IBM DB2, but in order to make a conversion, you can go to DB2ZOS. You need to go conversion, migration options, and here in the additional options parameter, you need to specify the tprod option that equals to DB2ZOS, and also you may specify target version, tvar, and submit this. And now let's make a conversion from SQL Server, select it as a source, IBM DB2 as a target. Just specify a source folder, or you can go to any particular file, specify 2 of them, all of them, or just specify source as a source, click run, and specify that you would like to convert SQL files, all SQL files, into a target folder. Click OK. And at the bottom of the Sequoias Commander, you can see how that all the SQL files are extracted and converted one by one and placed into the target with the same folders inside. So you can see the source and the target and can compare the results. Let's go to procedures, for example. You can see the source and its equivalent in DB2ZOS. Like cursor is declared here. So, and the way this cursor conversion is done in DB2ZOS here. The error message, how it is handled in handler conversion. So you can see begin try and begin catch block here, and begin catch is actually converted into a declare exit handler, and begin try is moved to a main body of the stored procedure. A few more examples like statements, for example. For example, we have in SQL Server you have list extended property function. This function returns commands created. These are descriptions created on columns, tables. So in this case we have a column description. So to implement the same in target database, we make a conversion to extraction of required information, remarks column from sys columns sysIBM syscolumns table, system table in DB2 mainframe. So you can see this is quite a specific solution that is implemented in our tool. And for example, for functions, we have inner join converted into inner join, and some coalesced functions with get date that is converted into a current timestamp. This is a tool that works with multiple scripts. And if, for example, you need to convert just some part of code or a single create procedure, single statement like update statement, as it is specified here, you can copy it into Sequoias Studio. The way you should work with it is the same as Sequoias Commander. Just specify the source, the target is IBM DB2. Go to the migration options, specify the additional options for the conversion, like DB2Z OS, and run the conversion. At the bottom of the Sequoias Studio, you will see the conversion process, that it is okay, and can see the result for DB2 mainframe database. The difference between the conversions with the additional option and without can be quite substantial, because in DB2ZOS there are some limitations, some features that are supported in DB2ZOS only, and the same way in simple DB2 and DB2 Linux, Unix, Windows version. There are lots of features that might not be supported in ZOS database. Okay, so this is all information I wanted to show you and tell you about tools, graphical tools that our company Aspire Systems provides. So you can see everything is quite simple. The whole conversion process is done automatically. There are features for functions conversion, for try-catch blocks, for other specific source examples conversion in our tool. So, and actually we are trying to automate as much as possible in all our projects. And try to achieve approximately 100% of the conversion, or the automatic conversion, to reduce the manual work for our customers. Thank you very much for your attention. Bye.